Alright, so it's time for me to do some comparisons on the OLED for Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice. And we're gonna have the same exact settings on both PlayStation 4 Pro and the Xbox One X on this OLED. I'm gonna show you the settings first, and then we're gonna do the comparisons. Okay, so let's jump into the settings really quick. Alright, just remember we are on the game user mode because this is a game, so you always want to use the game HDR picture mode when you're playing video games, especially the game HDR modes are right here on the LG, so you want to use the HDR game mode. The difference here is I am basically adjusting my own user custom picture mode for the HDR game mode. Alright, so remember, whenever you're playing an HDR movie or playing an HDR video game, these two things has to be set to maximum. Okay, this is something that should be like as a standard. Like, you should know this. If you have 4K now, 4K TV for quite a long time, you should know about this. Like, this should be like basics. OLED light, contrast light, all of that has to be all the way to the maximum because you got HDR. You want to take the advantage of the HDR. Brightness. Let's move on to the brightness. Brightness, I left at 50. Sharpness, I left at 23. Why? Because I really want to get that nice outline, sharp detail with this game, because this game, it's not running in 84K, so I want to have that nice balanced digital outline on the sharpness. And it's at middle, it's at 23. Color, it's at 53. It's at the threshold in middle. It's perfect. I'm not oversaturating nothing here. It's just the right amount. Color temperature, we're going to have to change the color temperature and move it down to 0. Remember, for the video games, you want to keep it in a 0. People ask me, why do you want to keep it at 0? Because for the movies, using the warm color, it's good. If you're gonna watch movies, I say keep it on warm 26. If you're gonna be playing video games, keep it at 0, honestly. If you're gonna be watching news, I guess you can move the cold a little bit to like maybe cold 10 or cold 15. But same with the sports, cold 15. But for a video games, keep it in a balanced 0. Keep it balanced. Alright, so the next thing is the picture options. Noise reduction, I like to keep it at automatic. MPEG noise reduction, keep it automatic. Black levels, you want to move this to high. You see, when I move it to low, you're kind of crushing the deep dark levels, so you want to keep it at high. See, when I keep it at high, you see the Sekiro, the Japanese letters. Believe it or not, these are like 2 words. These 2 letters, if you even want to call them letters. I mean, Japanese grammar is so difficult to understand. Trust me, guys. It's very difficult to understand. It's going to take you years and years and years and years and years to truly master that. Okay, and same goes for the Farsi. If you want to learn Farsi, I mean, trust me, there are very difficult languages out there. Spanish, it's easy. German, it's easy. English, it's easy. French can be difficult, but Japanese is very tough. All right, so you want to keep this at high. You see, if I keep it at low, then you barely see that in the background. When I keep it at high, I see it perfectly. So keep it at high. Your black levels. True motion, you can turn this off. Honestly, yes, you can use it, but just turn it off, man. You don't need it. You don't need it. Just turn it off. All right, so remember, these are the settings I'm using, and these settings will be exactly the same on PlayStation 4 Pro. The reason I'm showing you this is so that way you know what settings I'm using, and you also understand that I'm using exactly the same picture settings on both Xbox One X and PlayStation 4 Pro on this OLED. The model number of this television, it's E Series 2018 E8 55-inch OLED by LG. It has Alpha 9 processor. The whole thing gets in glass. Okay, it's a very sturdy glass. It's almost like a Gorilla Glass. You're going to have a hard time breaking this panel, trust me. And it's very heavy. This is a very heavy OLED. It's an E8 glass series by LG 2018 from last year. All right, now let's jump into the Xbox, shall we? All right, so here we are. This is the Xbox One X version. And I got to tell you something, guys. This is why I love OLED. And I know this is going to butt hurt some people, but just remember, I just did a half-an-hour video on the QLED. QLED has that peak brightness, but sometimes it's not all about that peak brightness, guys. All right? Here I am watching this HDR of Sekiro, and it just looks better on the OLED. But why is it looks better on the OLED? Guys, you can't see it through this camera. I'm not doing this video to tell you through, hey, look, here's the Holy Grail. I know you can't see it through this video. I understand that you can't see it through a camera. But the reason you come to my channel is because you know that I have QLED. You know that I have OLED. You know that I have both of these TVs. And you know that I have both of these games on both systems. I'm not sponsored by LG. LG is not sponsoring me. They're not giving me any money, okay? I'm just letting you know that the picture quality, it's better always on the OLED. OLED can always represent a better picture quality. Why that is? Because, guys, there's no backlit. Everything it's emitting by itself. 8.3 million pixels are emitting individually by themselves. So, of course, it's going to look better on the OLED. OLED always will give you a better picture quality. QLED will give you that peak brightness. It's going to give you that brightest TV. But you're not going to have those viewing angles. You're not going to have that beautiful, crystal clear picture quality like you got here. Okay? Now, let me switch to a PlayStation 4 Pro version really quick. Let me do that in a second. And here we are with the PlayStation 4 Pro version right here, just to let you know, there it is. Yes, it looks a bit softer here. You know, it's not as clean as the Xbox One X version, but the picture quality is still better on the OLED. Guys, this is what I'm trying to tell you. OLED is always going to give you a better picture quality than what you're going to be getting on a LED, LCD LED backlit TV. I know that QLEDs are quantum technology, but it's still LCD with quantum, with LED backlit, okay? Here, you don't have any backlit. So, any game will look practically better in picture quality. This is just a fact, guys. Yes, I know that the issue of burn-in and all that other crap, I get that. There's a risk of this, risk of that. I understand that if you're not careful. But the picture quality, it's better on the OLED. This is what I've been trying to tell you guys. Okay? Yes, it's not the brightest TV. We all get that. But the picture quality here is really good. And I'm not doing this video to show you that picture quality because you can't see it. You can't see it. I'm doing this video to walk you through it, to give you my commentary and my opinions. Because that's why you want to see this. Now, let's talk about the HDR. The HDR, it's disappointing here. I mean, you look at that moon, there's barely any tone mapping here. I mean, it's just really bad. And it's even worse here on the OLED. I think you're better off turning that HDR off, honestly, guys. I would recommend just turning the HDR off in this game. It's really not that great. Okay. And I have the exact same settings on the HDR, exact same thing here, so I just want to let you know. I brought my camera a little bit closer for you guys. Here's the PlayStation 4 Pro version. I'm going to keep it at this exact same spot here, and I'm going to switch to the Xbox One X. Even though you guys will not be able to see it, but I'm telling you, there's really no difference whatsoever in graphics. The graphics are pretty much identical on the Xbox One X and the PlayStation 4 Pro. It's just, to me, the PlayStation 4 Pro version runs a bit smoother because it has a little bit higher frame rate, like maybe 8 to 9 frames up higher than what the Xbox One X is giving you with 37 frames per second. So performance is a little bit better on the PlayStation 4 Pro. But in terms of graphics, picture quality, HDR, it's pretty much the same. Pretty much the same, guys. Let me switch to the Xbox One X. Here we go with the Xbox One X. Yes, the Xbox One X is a bit cleaner, but it's pretty much identical, guys. It's pretty much identical here. Now, as far as HDR, like I said, I did go to the settings, I did go to the options, and as you can see, I have my maximum brightness at 2000, my brightness here at 5, saturation adjustment at 5. The only thing you want to touch is maximum brightness, and I cranked it up all the way to 2000. So the HDR, it's not bad. Okay, this is what I'm trying to say. The HDR, it's not bad, but it's not good either. It's just okay. Okay, it's just okay. And I have the same thing on the PlayStation 4 Pro, so let me show it to you. And here we are with the PlayStation 4 Pro version. PlayStation 4 Pro version. As you will see on the PlayStation 4 Pro, I have pretty much the same thing with the HDR here. In terms of quality, everything's set to 2000. There goes the... Guys, to me, honestly, the OLED, this game looks better on the OLED than on the QLED. And I know I'm going to take a lot of heat for this, but just remember something. This is coming from a guy who has both of these televisions. I have them all, man. I have the QLED, I have the OLED, I have the TCL. I have 2 TCLs. I got Sony X900D. I got my KS8000. I got the projectors. I got the 4K monitors. Guys, I have it all. I'm not sponsored. I'm independent, and independently, I can tell you that the OLED picture quality looks better. Anything I throw on this OLED TV, it looks better. Not to mention the Alpha 9 processing chip that's built inside of it. No one talks about the Alpha 9 processing chip. It's almost like they just swiped it under the rug. Like, hello, Alpha 9 processor. Does a great job as well, adjusting that image quality. Okay, let's switch to the Xbox One X, and I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see it or not, but you will notice that there's no difference here. This is my PlayStation 4 Pro controller. This is PlayStation 4 Pro. We're going to switch to the Xbox One X in about 3 seconds. Or 4 seconds. 1, 2, 3. And there it is, Xbox One X, pretty much identical. And we're using the same settings, guys. We're using exact same settings. Everything's same here. You know, I'm not pulling any tricks here. There's HDR, it's turned on. The HDR peak brightness set to the maximum. But just remember, this is the important part I want to mention here. When it comes to the settings here on the OLED. Remember, your OLED light and contrast needs to be set to maximum. Remember, OLED light maximum, contrast maximum. Now I sound like that guy from Bosnian Pyramids, Samir Osmagovic. The OLED has to be 100, contrast 100. Okay, so OLED 100, contrast 100. Remember that. Another important thing you need to remember, which I'm going to show you right now, besides the OLED in contrast, scroll all the way down. Scroll all the way down. hit the picture options. Where it says black level, hit the black level at high. Look what happens if I move it to low. Look at that. And look what happens when I bring it at high. Keep the black levels at high, because you're going to be crushing the deep dark levels here. And you know what? The OLED already has the best black digital levels that you can have. So keep it at high. Keep it at high. Also, besides the black levels, make sure you go down here to the advanced controls and hit dynamic contrast at high. Hit this at high as well. This is a very important thing to remember, and I hope you guys are taking notes. I hope you guys are going to rewind this video, pause it, and write these settings down. Okay? And then, of course, at the end, you want to make sure that you have a maximum brightness set to 2000, which is right over here. 2000, right there. And they're very identical graphically. The only difference here is going to be the performance. Yes, the Xbox One X, it's slightly sharper. But remember the word slightly. What does that mean? Does that mean like you need to run out to the store and buy the Xbox One X? No, it really doesn't mean much. Slightly doesn't mean nothing, really. Okay? You need a magnifying glass to see that. All right? In terms of quality, they're both identical. In terms of resolution, they're both identical. In terms of HDR, they're both identical. The only difference is going to be the performance. You're going to get a better performance with the PlayStation 4 Pro. Okay? On the Xbox One X, you got slight downgrade on the performance, on the frame rates. Let's switch to the PlayStation 4 Pro. There's PlayStation 4 Pro. Just the better frame rates here. You're getting much better performance. Okay? So, again, PlayStation 4 Pro, it's very identical to the Xbox One X. Again, let me say it one more time. PlayStation 4 Pro, in terms of picture quality, in terms of graphics, it's very identical. In terms of HDR, it's very identical. What's the difference? The frame rate. That's the difference. What about the Xbox One X? It's the same thing. Very identical. The only difference, it's a slight decrease on the frame rate. But is that really a big deal? 8 frames up, 8 frames down. If that's something that it's a deal breaker to you, then, well, I feel bad for you, bro. I really do. That you're stuck in that kind of dilemma, because that's not a really a big deal, if you ask me personally. So doesn't matter which version you buy, you're gonna be fine. You're getting exactly the same. You're dealt the same card, okay? You're being dealt the same card. If you guys play poker, if you're being dealt the same card, this is pretty much what's happening across the table. You're getting dealt the same card. All right. So, I don't know if there's anything else I can say. Now, in terms of OLED, guys, listen, I don't know how many times I said this. I'm not, you know, an OLED fanboy. I'm not a QLED fanboy. I'm not fanboy of anything. But I do have to call it the way I see it. And the way I see it here is the OLED gives me a better picture quality. I see things better with the OLED. Why? Because every in each pixel it's emitted means every in each color it's emitting as well. And I see things better on the OLED. Any game will look better on the OLED. Now, the sad part about this game is the fact that it doesn't really have the best HDR. That's the sad part. But overall, you know, it would look better on OLED, if you ask me personally. It's just, this is just something we have to, guys, if you've never seen OLED, the only way you can see this is if you have both QLED and OLED. This is the only way you can see it. The peak brightness, it's really not that much of a big deal for me because I'm not living in a huge arena filled with lights. Okay, I'm not watching my television in Lakers Arena or Staples Arena or American Airlines Arena, Miami Heat. I'm not like watching it in the freaking arena where it's all lit up with light. If that's your shtick, if that's your problem, and you have a living room next to the pool, and there's so much sunlight, there's so much light, then for you, you need like a 65-inch Q9 FN. You need something with 2,000 nits of peak of brightness. For you, it's not gonna. It's something that you're gonna need. You know, for those of you who have those lit up rooms, then you're gonna need a QLED. OLED is not for everyone. I'm not saying you should go ahead and run out and buy an OLED. OLED is not for everyone. But if you're somebody who is not living in a lit up room, somebody who loves movies and appreciates the qualities in the games, the OLED will give you that quality, especially in the movies. It will give you that quality. But you gotta know how to use this technology. You gotta know how to use OLED. It's not for everyone. I'm not saying that it is for everyone. Just like QLED, it's not for everyone. Some people don't like that. Just like EdgeLED, it's not for everyone. People don't like watching having a guest watch a sports NFL game or soccer game from the corner, and they see a bunch of light coming from under it. That's the EdgeLED. So do your research, guys. Look at my videos. God knows I have so many of them. Look at other videos. Do your research. There's so much research you can do. There's internet out there filled with research and Google and whatnot. And you can make your own decision on what you want. I'm not a salesperson here. I'm not here to tell you what to buy. You know, this is why I never reply to those comments. People ask me, what should I buy? Sorry, man, I'm not here to tell you what to buy. I just ignored those kind of questions. I'm not here to tell you what to buy. I'm not a salesperson. Okay? Person who is selling TV will tell you which one to buy or which brands to buy. I'm not a salesperson. I don't do that. Well, there you have it. There's the Xbox One X. Let's not edit this video. Let's just switch right away to PlayStation 4 so you can see it like this. There it is. You know, let's position it exactly the same way. Like this right here. Hold on. I'm going to try to do it like this. I'm not going to edit anything here because somebody will say, oh, maybe he's pulling tricks. Yeah, sure, whatever. No tricks being pulled here. You see what you get here. You know. Let's switch to the PlayStation 4. There it is. Here. But you can't see it through this, guys. Even if I was shooting this with like a red camera, like 8K or something ridiculous megapixels, you still can't see it through a camera lens. Even Vincentio made a funny video. Vincentio clearly made a funny video where he showed the face of himself zoomed in, and then in the background he blurred out both televisions, OLED and QLED. And he says, guys, you cannot see how HDR, you cannot see how OLED and QLED looks, how these televisions looks through a camera lens. You got to see it in person with your own two eyes. I'm doing this video to tell you my opinion. You don't have to believe me. Just because I say, hey, it looks better on the OLED, doesn't mean you need to get rid of your QLED. You don't have to agree with my opinion, but that's my opinion. Why? Because I have these televisions, and this is how I feel about them. This is what I'm calling it, the way I'm seeing it. Okay? And that's what this is about. This is not about me showing you the Holy Grail. Okay? It's not about that. My videos are not about that. Okay? You're never going to be able to see the Holy Grail through a camera. If you want to see a Holy Grail, you got to be here in person to see it. If you want to see the difference between these panels. That's the only way. Okay? And it's difficult for me to help you when I don't know your environment, when I don't know your panel, when I don't know what kind of settings you're using, how you got your television connected. Guys, there's so many obstacles there that it's impossible for me to help you out like this. The only way I can help you out is if I was there. If I was there in your home and I look at your TV, I look at your settings, and I look at the way you have connected everything through your receivers, then I can determine and tell you, hey, this is the best settings, or this is what you need to use, okay? And then I look at your environment too. This is just me giving you my opinions. And to end this video, the way I'm going to call it here is both versions of the games are very identical. There's a slight difference with PlayStation 4 Pro because the frame rates go a little bit higher and Xbox gets stuck at 37. Also, there's a little sharper detail on the Xbox One X, but you're going to need to zoom in to see it. Overall resolution, the HDR, overall experience, it's identical. It's very identical. Okay? So, doesn't matter which version you buy, they're both pretty much the same. You know. Now, I am going to try 120 Hertz refresh rate on this game on the Xbox One X. Well, we'll try to do that on a QLED, most likely tomorrow. Because today, right now, after you finish watching this video, I'm going to have to do Metal Gear Solid 4 Guns of the Patriots. Okay, and please, guys, don't ask me all these questions while I'm doing a live stream of Guns of the Patriots. Save those questions for when I do Q&A. This is why I have Q&A, and I'm going to continue to do my Q&A on Sunday. Probably this Sunday I'll do it at 3 o'clock or 2 o'clock. That's why I want to do a Q&A. Q&A is the place for you to ask me all these questions. That's where you should show up. You should show up on my Q&A live stream. You know exactly what my Q&A is. You can see it on community forums. You know what time it is. And you got every opportunity to show up. And you can ask me questions there. When I'm doing a Metal Gear Solid 4 Guns of Patriots live stream, I'm focused on the game. And I cannot answer your questions while I'm live streaming. So if you ask me these kind of questions, I'm just simply going to ignore it. I'm not going to answer it for you. Because you're asking me something that's not appropriate for that stream. Come to the Q&A and ask me those questions in Q&A. Come Sunday. I want to do Guns of the Patriots so that way people can enjoy the live stream and they can enjoy the Hideo Kojima game. Maybe you never played Metal Gear Solid 4 Guns of the Patriots and maybe you want to experience it. Okay, I don't want to spend the entire walkthrough of the game answering your questions. Save those questions for Q&A. I'm letting you know in advance so that way you know. Because I'm not going to repeat myself when I do the live stream. I'll just simply ignore the questions and I'm going to do the live stream. Remember that. All right, other than that, guys, both versions are very identical. PlayStation 4 Pro has a slightly better performance. But the Xbox One X, you can use the 120 Hz refresh rate. The Xbox One X is slightly sharper than the Pro, but overall, they're very identical. So, that's it. There you have it, guys. I spent half an hour. And also another thing I want to say, guys. The 360p, there's nothing I can do about that. This is how YouTube works. This is how Google slowly process their videos. There's nothing I can do about that. I don't work for Google. I'm not a Google CEO. I'm not a CEO of YouTube. I can't make YouTube process the videos faster. Okay? And if it bothers you, well then, too bad. Come back when it's being processed. Don't complain to me, complain to the YouTube. You can write him a letter and let him know. Okay? So that's it. There you have it. I'll see you guys on the Guns of the Patriots live stream pretty soon.